What's good, YouTube? I'm back with another video. So we're watching some Tucker Carlson. Now, you ever heard of Tucker Carlson? He used to be a couple years ago, really big Trump supporter, huge MAGA supporter. Now he did a 180. He don't fuck with Trump literally at all. So let's see why.
What percentage of people who voted for Trump in 2024 feel let down or betrayed? A lot. Who's the religious extremist here?
Right.
If you find yourself waking up and assassinating ayatollahs, you may be the religious extremist. You
Right.
just stay close to Bibi and in the end, you'll be fine. What does that say about our country?
Well, it's pretty obvious by now that Trump betrayed much of his voter base. Even people on the right have been noticing it over the last year. He chose Israel above the United States, prioritizing Israel.
And I think that's crazy. He really chose Israel above the United States. And I think, and honestly, I think that might really I think this might unite the United States. Like, if we get to a point where we literally declare war, oh yeah, on behalf of Israel, oh, it's over. It's over. And this might unite the American people, because even if you're a leftist, you're a rightist, you're American, you're not American, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat. Nobody in America really, majority of Americans do not fuck with the Israel situation. So we will literally unite against this shit. I mean, yeah, America first. It's literally America first. Even on an immigration, that's just more of immigration, blah, 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 blah. I got friends who are immigrants. I'm hurt because my friends are leaving. I got parents I got to leave. That just hurt. This is you're fucking us. You're killing other people. You're doing a lot of wrong shit in the world, and you're using us to do it. And we're being negatively affected by the bullshit you're doing. Oh, yeah, so a lot of Americans are not going to agree with that shit.
Israel's interests above the electorate that supported him in an unprecedented political coalition of sorts. Well, here Tucker Carlson and the Hodge twins talks about that and explains what's going to happen after Trump. What is the pivotal moment that might detach the United States from Israel, and what's going to happen?
I think after Trump do his last run, whatever president comes into office that denounces Israel will win. Especially if Israel in Trump's term on bad, if Trump in his term with Israel on bad terms in America's eyes, whoever the next president, whoever runs, who condone war, who talks about stopping the war, good trade and having good relationships, and denouncing Israel and backing off from Israel will win the election. And they know that. They know that.
Happen, given that the opposition among the American electorate to funding for Israel, support for its wars, etc., is at an all-time high in terms of opposition, but the regime that unleashes the wars are more deeply committed to Israel than ever. It seems like a powder keg. What's going to happen? Let's find out. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hype it if you can.
And at this point in a political party that is dominated by Trump, I can't believe I'm saying this because I've always liked Trump and I still like Trump. But the truth is, after this war, it's impossible to say the Republican Party, Trump's Republican Party, MAGA, is acting on behalf of the United States. It's acting on behalf of Israel. And that's just a fact.
Yeah.
It's a fact. I mean, that's not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
They said that. Marco Rubio said that on camera. So we went into this war following Israel. So it's that is the opposite of America first. That's America in the subordinate position.
Subordinate category.
The female position. Sorry, the bottom in this relationship. And
it sucks to say, but yeah. Now we're the females, we're the supporters. We're the bottom. Oh shit.
Ronald Lauder
and his own voters. And
boasting about it. A succeeded attempt.
No, my fault, y'all.
And in the end, it's all about the opposite of what we thought we were getting and what they told us we were getting. It's such a betrayal that anyone attached to that is going to have a hard time reestablishing trust, even if he's a good man. And JD Vance is.
And make sure you smoke some weed, y'all. Light up with me. Light up with me. Late night. Light up with me.
He's a good man, but I think it's hard. It's you're part of that. I mean, how could you betrayed us? And it's the betrayal that makes it so bitter for people like me and maybe you who voted for Trump, and I campaigned for and with him. It's really? We really believe that you were going to at least try and in the end, it's all about cryptocurrency scams and wars for Israel? I mean, I can't believe you did that.
It's all about money. The J people, it's all about money.
Hiding the Epstein.
And what makes it crazy, they put in our books, they put on the people tell them, oh no, you can't say that about the J people. It's horrible. Anti-Semitic. They don't do nothing wrong. Oh no. Nah, bro. Why does every other country why does everything, like a lot of major world conflicts, events happen and they're in the middle of shit? They're always in the middle. And at first I used to say America been in the middle. Now compared to these niggas, we're in the middle because we're the powerhouse. We supply them. That's why we're in the middle. In reality, it's them. They're the problem.
Stuff, yelling at anyone who asks questions about the Butler shooting? Are you kidding? I'm an adult. I'm from this country. Like, I own this government. I own exactly as much of the government as you do because we're both citizens.
Karen.
Well, I wish that was true. That seems a little idealistic.
Yeah, Karen.
In Pollyanna, neither of us own the government, and Tucker has far more influence. I don't think J.D. Vance is a very good man, by the way. He's a charlatan chameleon that sold this war in Iran when he was tasked to do that, only kind of turning face when they were trying for like one day to sell an MOU that they've already shown willingness to sabotage. But otherwise, Tucker's exactly right. Trump is beholden to Israel. It's become apparent. And the crypto scams are, again, not a very highly covered story. People that watch Fox News all day probably have never heard of them, but World Liberty Financial is a coin, an organization that Trump started with the backing of U.S. treasuries to support a coin called USD1, I believe, where much of the foreign purchasers happened before it was released to the public, an attempt and a succeeded attempt in all measure to get initial investors rich on the backs of U.S. Treasury backing. So that's what you have with this Trump administration. It's become obvious between especially this and the Epstein scandal, the Iran war and the Epstein scandal. Yep. Some of the other scandals that we can talk about aren't as widely known, but more than anything, it's the unaffordability crisis with Trump escalating the wars, doubling down on the Pentagon budget being $1.5 trillion, boasting about it when the Republicans had the gall to smear the Democrats for spending too much. They always outspend the Democrats then, and vice versa. Everyone outspends each other, and we all pay the price for it in terms of debt and inflation. We're $40 trillion in debt. The debt payment is more than $1 trillion now, and Americans can't afford it. The average homeowner is 40, and all this is supposed to be, you know, indicative of a trustworthy administration that's draining the swamp. I'm sorry, no one can buy into that now. If you're still buying into that on the right, I think you'll accept just about anything. And this is happening as Lindsey Graham is being lionized as an outstanding public servant when the original Trump movement was supposed to be a repudiation against all the ideas that Lindsey Graham stood for. That's how much it's been captured.
How dare you speak to me the way you work for me? Like, that's how I personally feel about it. Like, I'm outraged that someone I supported would do something like this, would betray the country and his own voters, and then to whip around and say, I'm not loyal. I'm not loyal. I am loyal. My whole life is marked by loyalty. I'm married to my high school girlfriend. I believe in loyalty, okay? You're disloyal. You sold out the country to a foreign nation. It's just too much. So, and I don't think I'm alone in feeling this way. And so anybody attached to that is going to have a pretty tough time. And by the way, I think it's really clear that Trump is for Rubio because Trump's donors are for Rubio. They're not for Vance. They know J.D. Vance would never have regime changed. Kill the Ayatollah? You killed the Ayatollah? Are you joking? You're a nutcase. You killed someone else's religious leader, the head of a world's religion? Do you get to, like, I don't know, do they get to kill the chief rabbi of Jerusalem now, or the Pope?
Right.
I mean, like, what are you doing?
Right.
All right, so Rubio is a horrible psychopath, bloodthirsty maniac, but J.D. Vance, his first mentor was David Frum, the author of the Axis of Evil speech that George W. Bush delivered, and in his first moment in the spotlight, as the vice presidential nominee at the RNC, the thing he told, I think it was Sean Hannity, is the mistake that previous presidents have made with Iran is they don't commit. We need to punch them and punch them hard. You can take a look at this interview. I've reviewed it in other videos. He said that he was for Iranian intervention, at least at some points. I do think it very likely that J.D. Vance would have initiated this war. Now, you do have that New York Times story saying that no, he doubted its efficacy to some extent, but he's on every side of this issue, just as every politician is. They ultimately serve the donors, and the donor class is Miriam Adelson and Paul Singer and the Ronald Lauders of the world, the Bill Ackmans that always wanted this war for Israel's sake. So, no, I do think J.D. Vance is beholden to the Israel lobby and would have launched this war. And if he's president, he will launch other wars. Spoiler alert, that will happen.
Nutcase.
Yeah, bunch of
The
nut jobs.
Ayatollah. And I'm not Muslim. I mean, obviously I'm a Christian.
Right.
But we don't kill Ayatollahs. We're not at war with religions. What the hell are you doing? Who's the religious extremist here?
Right.
If you find yourself waking up and assassinating Ayatollahs, you may be the religious extremist. You know, I don't know what MAGA is exactly. I've never understood that.
Right.
MAGA is whatever Trump says it is, I guess. I think a better way to think about it is, of the people who voted for Donald Trump in 2024, how many are dissatisfied with what they're seeing? And that would be 100% of the people I know who voted for Trump. You know, they may not hate Trump. I mean, I think there's a lot of residual affection for Trump. I mean, I couldn't be more disgusted by Trump's betrayal. I couldn't be sadder about the grave damage he's done to the country. And I still kind of like the guy because I can't help it. So,
But I don't think, my bad, I don't think Trump is a bad guy. I don't think Trump is a bad president. I just think he got his nuts grabbed by Israel. That's all it is, bro. And it's like sometimes he would talk down on Israel. Like recently, he would condone in Israel, saying he don't agree with what they doing, like saying that they need to chill out. Like he's saying shit. So did J.D. Vance, because it's getting to a point where it's like, bro, like come on, and it's getting that bad. Like I'm trying to cover shit up, bro. We're looking dumb. And but right now, I feel like Trump is just bullying now. He's just bombing now. It's like, bro, we saying fuck you, trying to bomb him because the American people don't want to be in this war. So he's trying to hurry up and get the war over at midterms. He's out next year. It's almost winter. We about to go in the fall. He's gone next year. He's out. Like next year, his last year. So like, it gonna look bad. And but I don't think Trump a bad dude. I think Israel just got him by the nuts.
there is a deep well of affection for him personally, his lunacy, his stream of consciousness, comedy rants. Like, everyone likes that stuff, let's be honest. Or at least I do. I always did. So they're disappointed. They don't hate him. And by the way, they think the left, you know, the angry girl party in the Democratic side, they know they don't want that.
Right.
So it's like they're kind of betwixt and between. But what percentage of people who voted for Trump in 2024 feel let down or betrayed? A lot.
A lot, dude.
So that's the real MAGA.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, back then, about 2016, 2017, 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds, they was the one out there protesting, saying, yeah, go Trump. They was the ones holding the early morning rallies, early morning talks and shit. Now the same ones that were hosting Go Trump is hosting No King. The same people, same age group, same generation, out there in Ohio. I know that's where I'm from, Ohio, and they're protesting. I'm seeing the old fucks on the corner. I'm like, damn, nigga, it's really 10 o'clock in the morning. Y'all here saying No King. That y'all faithful out here, for real, for real. You seeing the MAGA hats with the X on it and shit. Like, I'm like, damn. But I understand why.
People, you could say I'm MAGA. No one even can define it. Did you vote for Trump in 2024 or didn't you? Nope. And if you did, you're in MAGA, at least as it was originally defined. And I think a huge percentage of those people feel really sad about what's happened.
Certainly so. That's undeniable if you watch The American Right, and I'm thankful to say that I don't meet that distinction. Not that it matters if you turn and have a redemption arc. That's what I care about. If you're on the right side of these issues, the Epstein scandal, the spending sprees, not cutting out, any kind of savings from the debt via Doge, the Iran war, how terrible and backward it is, the Gaza genocide, bankrolling that madness. If you're on the right side of these issues, you're generally my friend. Especially if you don't want to expand the power of the state when the power of the state is the most pervasive and influential and powerful as it's ever been. We've had the biggest government that the world has ever seen, the largest world empire. If you're against the empire, you are my friend, and there is all these betrayals, but I don't think Trump's sense of humor is hitting as hard when he's on the wrong side of these all these issues. Many of us, even if we weren't Trump supporters, did laugh along with Trump smearing Elizabeth Warren for releasing her DNA information, showing that she was 1/1024th of a Native American and running with that as if that proved her case, or mispronouncing Pete Buttigieg's name, mispronouncing, Ron DeSantis's last name. This stuff was kind of funny. It hit a little bit, but now when Trump's on the side of murdering psychopaths and is in fact complicit in his own right with that kind of policy, it doesn't land. It's not winning any kind of adherence. It's ultimately delivering, this insane kind of response to something that Americans know is serious. It's not hitting. It's not working. And it is a betrayal. And many of the people that are betrayed by Trump are not just going to go to the Democrats. They don't want to buy what the Democrats have to sell, the promise of more social media censorship, more spending, more welfare, more regulations, and more support for Ukraine. It's not something the American right...
I don't think Republicans are going to switch Democrat. Long shot. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think they're just going to just not fuck with Trump and trying to find somebody else, or they just might move into a third, make a whole other party. They got the money to do it. They might fuck around and just move third party or make a whole separate situation or do some bullshit. Like, you know how Republicans are.
Is going to want to deal with, but either way, Trump is handing a victory to the Democrats. He is helping to inspire the blue wave that will come in 2026 and probably ultimately in 2028.
What do you?
Hey, y'all, before Tucker Morrison go back starting, bro, hey, I want y'all to know weed's amazing. It's a great thing to do. It's a great thing to smoke. Not gonna lie to you. I wouldn't say do any type of hard drugs or crack, no meth, none of that shit. You feel me? But you can grow it, you can smoke it. That's all I'm saying. You can grow it, you can smoke it. It's natural. No way people tell you weed bad and shit, and they're over here doing it for cannabis. They're over here doing it for medical reasons and healing and shit. They say weed bad, but they pull a fourth of beer any day. They do a lot of coke any day. They drink 24/7, smoke cigars. But weed bad. Make it make sense. See? They're lying. Or the J people. Tell you.
You think's gonna go down in the midterms?
But they make money from it though.
I mean, I think the Republican Party is going to get spanked like the bad little girl it is.
Yeah,
of course. Is. I mean, of course.
Like last time.
President's party almost always loses some seats, but the Republican Party is pathetic. It's craven. It has no dignity. It doesn't even speak for itself. The Speaker of the House is like the weirdest, creepiest, most dishonest person ever, and he's not even man enough to be dishonest or creepy openly. I mean, whatever you think about Lindsey Graham, at least he's like out there defending his insane homoerotic positions, right? But
this was interestingly timed. I think this was recorded right before Lindsey Graham died, but nonetheless, that's true.
Someone like Mike Johnson, who's literally the number 3 guy from the presidency, he's the head of the Republican Party in some ways in the Congress. That guy, it's like, would you want your kid to grow up to be that? No, of course not. The whole thing is just contemptible. It's contemptible. Now, the question is, what's the alternative? And I don't see much of an alternative. I mean, I really don't. I mean, there's some really pathetic people on the Republican side. There's some truly freaky people on the Democratic side. I think the whole trans thing was mostly an op, really. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, there are a lot of people in the Democratic Party who sincerely believe or feel compelled to pretend they believe that a man can become a woman just by wishing it. Well, you're mentally ill if you think that.
Okay, so let me get my stand, because I got new people to follow me, And a lot of people will start asking my stand on with the LGBT community, WRX. I think you can be whatever the fuck you want to be. If you're born a male, you want to be a female, and that what you want to do, then I think you should do it. I agree with you. I agree with you. But that doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything you do. So I ain't going to think you're still a man. But I'm not going to like if you tell me your name is Jessica, I'm going to call you Jessica. I'm not going to go around and ignorantly be like, oh yeah, this person got a dick. Like I'm not. No. But if you were to ask me, hey, do you think I'm a man or a woman? I'm going to say you're a man. Go down. Will that change me finding you attractive or thinking you're ugly or cute or anything like that? No. You can be attractive. Shit, you be a badass trans. Shit, you bad, you bad. It is what it is. My nigga Chris Brown look good as fuck. It's what it is. I ain't gonna lie. But do I want to be in a romantic relationship with you? No, I can't recreate with you. So, like, that alone, logically, makes me not want to be with you. I can't recreate with you. That's not even my religional belief. I'm not a religionist. I am, but I'm not. I don't fully believe in the Bible. I even know God and Jesus exist. That's all I know. I grew up Baptist, but I don't fully believe in the Bible. I believe in parts of it, but not all of it. So I'm not even saying I'm heavy Christian. But if I just had to pick a religion, I'm picking Christianity. So, kind of confusing. I rock. And I'm not really Democrat or Republican. I'm not like a leftist or a rightist. I'm not a liberal or conservative. I'm kind of, I want to step in the middle. I have my own views. Life is life. You know, you gotta just swim in it.
That's actual crazy stuff. So I don't know. We're about to find out just how crazy the Democratic Party is because they're about to take over.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's Trump's fault 100%. It's 100%. Just like do what you say, or make a good faith effort to do what you said you were going to do, and people will be grateful for it. I mean, people gave Trump so much latitude anyway.
Right.
You know, he ran on build the wall. He didn't even try to build the wall. They're very defensive if you say that. No, you didn't. You didn't do anything to build the wall, and there's no wall, so shut up. So those votes.
Yeah, I don't get why the Republicans are fucking stupid. Like, I know I'm more in the Republican Party, but, bro, when he said it, the wall, I was like, okay, well, I mean, I don't know who would to do it, but I mean, we have the people to do it. Then he said Mexico gonna pay for it. I'm like, nigga, how? How? That wall never gonna hit. That wall would never go up. It would never go up. Ever go up. And you trying to pour or that shit not going up. They try to build it and guess what? They ain't going nowhere.
Voters who voted for Trump in the first race and then voted for him again 8 years later, like they forgave him that. And they're always happy to forgive Trump. So he didn't even have to do that much to retain the loyalty of his voters because they wanted so desperately to like him. And he did it. You know, he did the one thing that you couldn't do, which is just like waste the lives and the money of Americans fighting someone else's war. It's too much.
Yeah, it is too much. And he said it. I think Trump did build something like 400 miles of border wall in his first administration. Now there doesn't seem to be as much of a drive behind that, whether or not you support that policy. He isn't delivering on that. He isn't delivering on mass deportations whatsoever, which much of his electorate expected. He hasn't reimposed many of the protective tariffs that he promised to deliver. Again, you know, fullness and disclosure, I'm totally against tariffs completely. I'm for free interactions, voluntary interactions, but Trump hasn't delivered that. He has delivered wars for Israel, genocides for Israel, an Epstein cover-up, and continued support for the war in Ukraine. He has not ended the war in Ukraine. He has ended Republican opposition to the war in Ukraine as Congress, the House of Representatives, just passed $9 billion in additional funding for Ukraine. I'm not sure if the Senate's passed that or not yet, but that's where we're at. This war that supposedly Republicans were going to go against are now for because, again, it provides lucrative money streams to the military-industrial complex. That's Trump. That's who we have. And the best point I think Tucker made is this is his fault. He is handing victory to the Democrats on a silver platter. His Democratic past is never showing more than it is now, working in lockstep essentially with Gavin Newsom, AOC, Wes Moore, Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, and other potential contestants in 2028. What could he have done more than to set the stage for a Democratic triumph in 1 year? I don't know what he really could have done more. I really don't. And that's what Americans are dealing with now.
Are you familiar? I follow a guy's name is James Carville. He's a Democratic strategist, and he's been going on these rants about Trump and when they take over in the midterms. Do you see any the Trump family or Trump facing anything that will be considered against the emoluments clause in the Constitution?
I don't know. I mean, I know James Carville very well. I worked with him for years, traveled the world with him. I know him really well, and there's a lot of good about James Carville, but he's just a partisan. He's not a serious person. It's just like my team is better than your team. Oh, shut up. Nobody cares about your dumb team. Your team sucks. Both teams suck. What matters is America. You know what I mean? And there's no vision for making anything better. I mean, Carville would defend it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, Jeffrey Dahmer became the Democratic nominee. It'd be like, no, we're for cannibalism now. It's good. FDR would have approved. It's like, it's so stupid. That whole way of thinking is so stupid. It's like, here are the obvious problems that the country faces. Drugs are right up there at the top. Man. Employment right up there at the top. Man. Prices of everything, especially housing, right up there at the top. What's your plan for that? No plan. Then shut up. You know, it's just a power struggle between rotten, shallow, small-minded people, and I think a lot of Americans get that. As for what happens to the people in Trump's orbit once he loses power, you know, I don't know. I've got a terrible track record of guessing. I will say that as long as he keeps, I mean, the number one most important thing in D.C. is staying aligned with Israel. And if you're not aligned with Israel, then they do to you what they did to Massey and MTG and Graham Plattner. If you stay aligned with Israel, they make a bunch of noises, but ultimately you're fine. And that really is kind of what it's about. I didn't used to think that, but I've just watched for so long and watched pretty carefully and known a lot of the people. It's that. You know, one of the most famous people in the Democratic Party for generations was the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, a guy called J. William Fulbright, senator from Arkansas. He wasn't quite supportive enough, and the Fulbright Scholarship is named after him. He was like this famous guy in the Senate for generations. He got sideways with Israel. They just funded, you know, a primary opponent, and he's gone.
Yeah, William Fulbright was the mentor of Bill Clinton, by the way, and that's exactly what happened to him. Tucker is right about this, and I'm glad he used those examples. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, and Graham Plattner, the latter of which has very different views on a lot of topics compared to Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey. But what was the commonality? Their treatment for going against Israel. Suddenly there was these rape allegations against Graham Plattner 5 years later with a woman that hung out with him a lot after the supposed rape, that only accused him then of rape after he happened to win a primary. It seems like the Democratic establishment would rather have Susan Collins, the Republican, win that race because she is pro-Israel. That is a dynamic in Washington. I do think it will change. It won't change tomorrow, but American sensibilities, again, are totally turning away. And at some point, the Israel lobby is not going to be able to hold the ground that they have in Washington, D.C. Pat Buchanan was right that Congress, Capitol Hill, is Israeli-occupied territory, but will it be in 20 years? I'm not so sure. There will be the billionaire Zionist donor class. Some of it will die off, but I don't think that influence is going to be enough to counter the, you know, growing masses of Americans that are more alert to this issue, more woken up to it than they ever have in the past.
1974, he's gone. So that is it. You know, stay on the right side of Israel. You can do whatever you want. Carville told me that as a young man. I said, right. What are we doing with Israel? And he goes, you want your kids to get into college? Said, shut up. Hey, we were sitting on an airplane flying back from San Francisco. I'll never forget it. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, really. So, and Carville knows exactly how the system works. He's really smart, actually. I can confirm that. He's really smart.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Even at 83 or whatever he is, he's really a smart guy, and he's been around forever. And Carville knows that you can't criticize Israel, which is why he doesn't criticize Israel. I think he secretly thinks Israel's disgusting. Most people do. But that's the game right there in one sentence. Mm-hmm. And so I think as long as, and Trump knows that, of course, also. You know, you just stay close to Bibi, and like in the end, you'll be fine. What does that say about our country? You don't even have to hate Israel, and you certainly don't have to hate Jews, which I don't at all, and I never will. Right. To say that is disgusting. It's humiliating. We have no sovereignty. Why do I have to suck up to your stupid little genocidal country in order to live peacefully in mine? I shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
It's not hate, by the way, to say that.
Right.
It's the opposite of hate.
Right.
I just want dignity in my country that my ancestors built.
Right.
Absolutely. Adherence with Israel and closeness with Israel and attachment with Israel is anti-prosperity. It is anti-sovereignty. It is anti-American. And the entangling alliances that the United States embraces are manifest in the worst ways in the U.S.-Israeli alliance. You can make a claim that few have been as destructive throughout history. Maybe the NATO alliance, I think a very good argument could be made with that. But Americans are noticing this more, this attachment that's gone back decades that never helped the American people, never led us on a more prosperous path. Our dignity has been stolen by these psychopaths in Washington representing this foreign country above us. And that's what the Iran war shows us. There's nothing in the Iran war that's beneficial to the United States. And Joe Kent told the truth about that from within the Trump administration, that the United States was led into this war by Israel's powerful lobby in the United States, and that Iran was never an imminent threat to the United States. And none of the
Iran has never been a threat to us. A lot of Middle Eastern countries have never been a threat to the United States. They never have been. What purpose do they have coming over here? They have no purpose. We have no purpose going over there. Why? Why do we need to be over there? Why do we need to occupy that area? Let's keep the diplomatic trade alive. And you stay in your area, I stay in my area. I stay in the west, you stay in the east. That's simple. Leave me the fuck alone.
Propaganda that they try to unleash about the supposed nuclear threat being true has any substance in reality. Even the United States intelligence apparatus denied that. But we're supposed to believe they're on the cusp of a nuke, and the two issues that remain in the war, the presence of Israel and Lebanon as they try to expand their borders in that war, occupying southern Lebanon, and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, both of those things were problems that the United States and Israel caused by launching this war.
Yep.
So the United States has given up on its original war aims of regime change, dismantling their ballistic missiles, stopping their support for the proxies. They're never going to do it because this war had a retarding effect on the American public and has only encouraged Iran to dig in deep. They're resilient, they're defiant, and they're a major economic player with the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, the ultimate hedge to future conflict. Does seem to be closed now again because of the sabotage of the MOU. It's fallen apart completely. No sense that Israel will ever cease occupying southern Lebanon. Ben-Gvir, Smotrich, Netanyahu have made that clear. They're not going to abide by the number one point in the MOU, and Trump's not going to hold him to it because he's a puppet of the Israel lobby. Yep. There's too much influence of the Israel lobby on our presidency, on members of Congress, on the bureaucracy, and against the American people. Americans are getting fed up with it, though, and how much this plays in future politics is an open question. I don't think things will change tomorrow. I think
it's crazy, too, because, it's really crazy because Israel talk about merging militaries. They talk about merging the IDF with the Pentagon. And I'm happy Republicans are shutting that shit down. Like, nigga, no. Nigga, no. What? Merge? Nigga, no. The people are gonna go crazy. Bro, if they announce on the news, IDF Israel have merged with the United States military, bro, the civilians of the United States is going to go crazy. It's going to go crazy. It will be uproar. It will be a massive uproar.
I think that 2026 will be the year that all the candidates that oppose Israel win. But at some point, I think that you'll see that more and more. There's other dynamics involved. Like I said, Trump has completely annihilated and destroyed and just bypassed all the promises he made. That dynamic probably will play more than the Israel issue in 2026 overall, especially because Americans can't afford basic necessities. The Democrats are all running on affordability, which they should run on. They have the right prognosis there. I don't think they have the right solutions. It's going to be, hey, look at all these government corruption schemes. Look at all these wars. What we need is more governmental central planning, more economic central planning. Let's have the people running the wars dedicate their time to managing healthcare and education. Don't think that that's going to be the best solution. Let's have the permanent bureaucracy be turned into a good force for Americans. It's absurd. It's utopian. It's never going to happen. The problem is in Washington. The barbarians are within the gates. The enemy are within the gates. They're never external. They'll always tell you that the enemy is the CIA's latest boogeyman, right? Right now, it is the Ayatollah. It is Putin. Those are the enemies, but they don't steal half your wealth. They don't set up a surveillance state. They don't rob you. They don't enact conscription mandates for you. They don't shut down society. They don't have control over your money supply. They don't plunge you into debt. They don't exacerbate your inflation. Yep. That is the people in Washington. They're all psychopaths, regardless of which party they're in. But Trump hasn't helped things. Let's just say that Trump, instead of draining the swamp, filled the swamp with some of the most crazy, idiotic, and bloodthirsty swamp creatures imaginable. But that's what I think. Let me know what you think. Is Tucker Carlson right about this? What's going to come after Trump? Is it just a flat-out insult to Americans?
Man, like I said, Trump, he betrayed the American people. In this situation, I mean, and not like I feel like there's something I can't even really be mad at him, bro, because I know it's not something he want to do. But they got his nuts, bro. He got I don't know what they got on Trump. They got something on him. They got something deep on Trump for him not to put his foot up Israel's ass, man. We need to defund them. Well, we need to not defund them, but we need to separate from them. Pretty much.